Hi everyone, welcome to this P5 run. I just beat this like a couple days ago, and this video is going to be a little bit different. It's actually going to be a how-to guide on as to how this works. I'm using an incredibly aggressive playstyle, as you can see by my little Sisters of Battle fight here. And basically what I'm going to be doing is explaining how to beat this thing for people who have more of an aggressive playstyle, kind of like Sekiro, how Sekiro rewards, aggressive playing in comparison to, Dark Souls players who just have kind of the defensive battle with a lot of rolling. This one's going to be way more aggressive. So if you guys are looking for something that fits your playstyle and your playstyle is more, playing aggressive, this will be for you. I'll be explaining how to beat all the bosses, charm loadout, and basically everything that there needs to be known in terms of beating this incredibly difficult challenge. So, yeah, this is a little bit different than what I've been uploading lately, so hopefully you guys enjoy it. If not, well, hopefully it helps at least one person out. And there will be a special surprise at the end of the video, so make sure to stay through to the entire thing. And, hey, just enjoy me absolutely having a level of a time doing this thing, because this took a lot of effort. So, without further ado, let's get into this. Alright, so first off, what we're going to do is we're going to explain the charm loadout for this. Because we're using an aggressive playstyle, we're going to make sure that we're getting as much damage in as possible early and often. So the charm loadout that we're going to be using is, I have Void Heart, but that's automatic. We're going to be using Shaman Stone, Quick Slash, Unbreakable Strength, and Long Nail. Shaman Stone is useful because if you ever want to get off spells, you want to get them quick. Unbreakable Strength and Quick Slash are really the key components in which we're going to need this. And Long Nail just adds a little bit of extra length. That way you can, damage from a distance. Sorry about that saw in the background. It wasn't supposed to be there, but hey, don't worry about it. But yeah, that's the charm loadout because it'll help us get damage quick. And it'll help us get damage often. Yeah, you see me expertly fail to jump over here to get up there. I don't know why they made this so difficult to get up to, but anyway. You make the climb, the ominous music as you try to ascend this incredibly difficult... Yeah, I had to turn down the volume because the volume was super loud for some reason. Yeah, but it be what it be. Yeah. And anyway, we get into it. So Vengefly Kings. This boss... The early bosses really aren't that hard. This Vengefly Kings is a little bit annoying because you have to make sure that your loadout is pretty easy and not as difficult. So kind of what you're looking for here is you're looking to jump up and nail pogo, and if you have time, just Shade Soul. The first guy goes down pretty quickly if you get all your hits off. But really just looking to jump when he does the dash attack and then down slash. The little mini guys are pretty easy to take care of because it's not like they're damaging you during the whole thing. So just make sure to do the down pogo, Shade Soul when you can. And yeah, that's a pretty easy first boss. Like I said, the first few bosses are going to be pretty easy, so just see what goes on. Alright. Rose Mother. I mean, yeah, they added spikes here, but what you're going to see me do is, I get hit a couple times, but what you're going to see me do is up slash as much as possible because I don't have steady body, so I'm going to get bumped back a bunch if I try to side slash. So I'm going to try to make sure that when she jumps, I'm going to shade dash over and just basically go ham. Jump up and do up slash. She does that, down slash. And there you go. It's really not that hard. If you just stay on one platform and wait for her to come to you, that's an easier way of doing it. False Knight's pretty easy. With Quick Slash and Unbreakable Strength, you can easily outdamage this guy before he starts doing anything crazy. And 9 hits is what it takes to stagger, and then 2 hits is what it takes to knock him out. Like you can see, like he was about to do the attack that makes everything drop, but I was able to damage him fast enough. I didn't get enough damage off, so I planned on dashing back in, but I didn't wait for my Shade Dash to upgrade fully, so I kind of got screwed there. But it's okay, because, you know, now he's dead. And you can Dream Nail the shell to get more soul. Because this is early, you don't really need it, but it would be helpful. Alright, Massive Moss Charger. Probably the easiest boss. Although I might have gotten hit here, I'm not 100% sure. It's literally just time your forward slash. Yeah, I didn't get hit this time, but I've been hit a few times, and it's embarrassing when it happens, because all you have to do is just time your forward slashes, and yeah, pretty much dead. Hornet. Hornet 1 is pretty easy because you can tank a lot of what she does here. If you get 6 hits in a row, she'll stun, which is helpful. But you'll see me tank a bunch. Like, I really don't care if I get hit here because I know I can heal with the amount of healing I have. But yeah, it's just basically get a couple hits. Abyss Shriek when she does the jump, because she'll always do the jump after she stuns. So time your Abyss Shriek there, and it's pretty easy. Skip the Godseeker here because she's annoying. You see me turn my brightness down for some reason. I don't know why I did that. But Gorb is one of those fights that's like bordering on unfair because it's annoying. He's not particularly difficult, but it's just there are only 3 platforms. You kind of have to jump in order to get over to him, and he teleports at annoying times. So really, it's just not that fun. But like again, the things are pretty easy to avoid. Just when he goes into the 3 phase, just make sure to avoid 1. It's really just micro movements that you're doing, and micro movements are going to be really helpful. If you can like adjust your movement just slightly in order to miss things, it'll help you big, because then you have more time to react to things. Dung Defender is again kind of like Hornet. You can really out damage Dung Defender. You literally just stand in his face and just use forward slash, and he's done pretty quickly. If he does that, do Descending Dark, because that will knock him out and deal a massive damage of points. There's a bunch of lag here because there's a lot of particle movement, and you know, I'm not using a particularly decent laptop, so yeah, it'd be what it be. But yeah, just out damage him, just get in his face and slash as much as possible, and you'll have no problem. Stay close to him when he does the hoo-ah move, and you won't get hit by the flying dung balls. So. Soul Warrior, the best strat I have for this is literally just stay on the ground and abuse the crap out of Shade Dash. That's really what's going to get you the win here. Like, you'll see me, he'll make his movement there, I micro move over, he does the dash, like the dash attack, I just jump over him. But if you do it this way, like when you're damaging Soul Warrior, the little flying things will come at your height, so you can kill those while you're damaging Soul Warrior, so it's kind of helpful. I got so excited this first time because I thought Tiso was an actual boss, and then this came in and I got really annoyed. But Brooding Maw, like, again, abuse the crap out of Shade Dash. Just get... Long Nail really helps here because Long Nail is pretty much like almost the exact same range as his attacks. So basically what I'm doing is I'm damaging him, see that come in either Shade Dash if I have it activated, or just micro movement away from the slash. Just if you stay close to him, you very rarely will get hit by the flying ball, so it's nice. Alright, the Nail Masters. This is basically an out damage phase. Like, if he does this attack, just basically wait for him to jump over, and then just basically out damage him. It takes 16 hits, I believe. The other attack he does is a dash attack, but that's pretty easy to avoid. Alright, we're literally, all we're going to do is just spam the crap out of spells. Focus on one guy, and basically spam spells until he dies. Like, I'll use Abyss Shriek as long as I can, and then I'll use Shade Soul. Basically, the one that you've damaged the most during your Abyss Shriek spam is the one that you're going to be focusing on. And then once it's down to 1, again, it's pretty easy. I forgot what ability he had, so I jumped instead of... I didn't jump in time, but 1 is pretty easy to handle, 2 is difficult because they both have different speeds, but if you focus on 1 with your Abyss Shrieks and Shade Souls, then everything will kind of fall into place, which is nice. And with that, that's Pantheon 1 done, which is pretty neat, honestly. The first Pantheon really isn't that difficult. If If you've played through the first 4 Pantheons, you probably get a handle on Pantheon 1 by now. So this is actually kind of helpful, and it's really useful. Pantheon 2. Now, Zero, a little tip about Zero. Zero is a hit or miss. Sometimes I can have like absolutely great Zero fights, and sometimes, like, I think this one's a good example, I can have some really bad fights. But you just got all your soul back, so basically just spam the crap out of Abyss Shriek. And if you can get like 4-hit Abyss Shrieks, that's really helpful. But it's really difficult for me to dodge his nails. Just kind of jump and go in the opposite direction where the nails are coming, and you'll be fine. Crystal Guardian, it's literally just stand in front of his face and shade dash whenever he does that attack. That's literally it. Just spam attack. It's 21 hits with Unbreakable Strength and Quick Slash. And yeah, he's dead in seconds. It's pretty easy. So that's Crystal Guardian. We've seen the upgraded version of him later. Soul Master is pretty easy once you face Soul Tyrant enough times. It's literally just like, this is where dash comes in handy. You just dash a bunch. I was stupid there and I mishit. And yeah, but basically just jump over most attacks. This attack right here is a perfect time to heal. I out-damaged him, so I wasn't really able to get, you know, the heal off, but what you really want is you want to be able to dash as much as possible to get over to where he is. And most of this time he'll stay up, but once you transition into his second phase, like you see me heal right now, it's a perfect time to heal. And yeah, he'll go crazy for a little bit, and then he'll go into his second phase. Now, here's a strat that I use. I double jump and damage him up. Sometimes you'll get hit like that when he fakes you out, but like if you can do this, you can damage him a pretty decent amount, to the point where I think I only had maybe 5 hits off of him once I was, yeah, 5 hits off of him once I was done. So it's a pretty easy way to damage him before those floating fireballs start coming at you, because I really don't want to go through 2 phases of that lazy fight. Oblobbles is literally just an Abyss Shriek spam when you can. When you get damaged, use Abyss Shriek. But yeah, you're gonna tank a lot during Oblobbles, and I'll explain why in a second. But basically just up slash, try to avoid the, like, you know, the projectiles as much as possible. Just kind of like weave left and right, and most of the time you'll be able to get it. It comes with practice, but when you can, just Abyss Shriek the crap out of them. But yeah, usually after Oblobbles, like, this is a really, really good Oblobbles fight. Usually I take a lot more damage than that, but you can get a decent amount of health if you don't use all your Abyss Shriek. And here, Mantis Lord's, like, the first phase you should be able to get through hitless. It really isn't that hard. It's just jump over when she does that attack, and then slide over to the left or right when they do that attack. It's really not that hard the first phase, and once you do that, you can usually get 4 heals right off. So even if you lose 4 health to Oblobbles, you can really get all that back. Sisters of Battle, though, is a practice fight, and the reason why I say that is because it looks like a lot is coming at you, and it looks like I'm playing like an absolute mad lad right now, but the thing about Sisters of Battle is when I was talking about micromanagement earlier, micro movement earlier, that's really what it is. You're gonna have to get really good at getting in really close to them. Like, you're seeing, like, I'm barely dodging them, and it's really just learning how to get attuned to how close you can possibly get without getting hit, because that'll give you space to, you know, jump over them when that happens, or be able to damage a bunch without having to worry about it. And once you get it down to 2, it's pretty manageable, because they attack kind of 1 at a time, and after 3 it's pretty easy at that point. You can use Abyss Shriek when it's 2 of them, or even, and especially if it's 1 of them. Just not with 3, because the 3rd one will come down and try to do the down attack, that one. But once you get it down to 1, it's pretty simple. Just learn how to do mini micro movements that'll get you just barely out of the way, and then you can damage them out. And if you take a bunch of damage, there's a hot spring right here. So you see me skip healing because I don't know what I was thinking, honestly. Marmu, Abyss Shriek, and Upslash. Kind of the same thing that we did with Oblobbles, except this one has a lot less health, so you can afford to lose it. Yeah, but basically, yeah, just Abyss Shriek and up slash. Don't try to jump or go or do left or right because it's really hard. It's much harder to manage. If you do up slash, it's a lot easier. All right, Fluke Marm. Ready? 12 hits, and then 1 Abyss Shriek, and it's game over. Just kind of do that, and then, yeah. Fluke Marm is a literal joke. Literally, it's a joke. So just do that, and easy. Broken Vessel's gotten easier since you fight Lost Kin a bunch of times. So just kind of outdamage him, get over in his face, use Shade Dash when he does the dash attack. Or I mean, you can jump over it too. It really doesn't matter. But after you play Lost Kin, Broken Vessel becomes a heck of a lot easier. So just kind of get in his face with Unbreakable Strength. The amount of damage that you shred with Unbreakable Strength and Quick Slash is unreal. So just kind of use Shade Dash and get in his face and use as much as possible. Galen used to be a really hard fight for me until I figured out all you need to do is stay on the ground and just dodge that thing and just use a bunch of up slashes. Because Galen will get pretty close to the ground and it's a pretty narrow arena. So just get low to the ground and yeah, you see me go for an Abyss Shriek there. That was a stupid idea. But just either use Abyss Shriek or up slash and he's done pretty quickly. That was a decent Galen fight. I've gotten hitless before, but it didn't happen this time. Alright. Shio. Shio's actually a pretty easy boss once you get to know how he works. Because he has very easily telegraphed attacks. Because if you didn't notice, his paintbrush glows the color that he's about to use. And each color represents a different attack that he has. And with Unbreakable Strength and Quick Slash, it's almost unfair. Like, it really is. And yeah, his attacks are pretty easy to dodge. I mean, like the 3, you just stay away from them and then move in. That charged attack you dodge, and the red attack you just move out of the way. They're pretty easy to dodge. Just make sure that you're paying attention to what he's doing and what he's telegraphing. And it's not that bad. And then you get a hot spring immediately afterwards. So it's kind of cool. Alright, next up, I believe is Hive Knight. I hate Hive Knight, it's a lazy boss, but basically get in his face and spam. Use Shade Dash as much as possible, but when he does this attack, jump over so that your Shade Dash can recycle, because sometimes he'll spam that attack multiple times and your Shade Dash doesn't, you know, heal that quick. But yeah, when he does that attack, jump over it. If he does that attack, Shade Dash. Sometimes you'll get lucky, sometimes you won't, but that's, again, that's Hive Knight. If you want to jump over his dash attack, sure, but it's really hard to time since he basically dashes immediately. Elder Who is literally just jump and up slash. The thing I noted about the pancakes is that the pancakes are always, like, the gaps are almost always where you are, or if it's not, then it's one shade dash away. And if you time your shade dashes right, then it will actually, if you shade dash at just the right time, even if you're on the pancakes, like your shade dash will not get hit with the pancakes, but other than that, it's literally just up slash Elder Who to pieces and you're fine. Next up, I believe, is the Collector. Collector used to be hard until I found out an easy, just stay close to him, and every time he jumps, he'll jump over you. With Unbreakable Strength, you can beat every single one of these cage things in one hit. But if you stay close to Collector, he'll jump over you, and that gives you opportunities to use Abyss Shriek if you can, because Abyss Shriek will get you 4 hits. At this point, I've mastered Collector to the point where I don't need to Abyss Shriek anymore, so you won't see me Abyss Shrieking, but Unbreakable Strength, like, gets rid of the difficult part of the fight, which is, like, you know, the Vengeflies and the Primal Aspids. So it makes this fight actually a literal joke, and if you just stay near Collector, you'll outdamage him without any problem. But yeah, this is why I like using Unbreakable Strength, because he absolutely shreds those and it makes the fight so much easier. This is another boss that I really, really hate. Just kind of spam Shade Cloak, because the big guy, it takes one Shade Cloak, and if he stands still like that, one Shade Cloak will basically hit him twice. This time, for some reason, he just spammed the roll move, which kind of annoyed me, because usually when I fight God Tamer, it's, yeah, he uses that attack, and that attack is really helpful when you have a bunch of soul, because you can just spam Shade Cloak, or Shade Soul, and it'll work. But yeah, just spam Shade Soul when he's like taking a break, just go up and hit him a bunch of times. I was just curious if you could dream nail them. It really can. And now we get to the one fight, well, the first of many, in which being patient is actually a necessity here. Grim and Nightmare King Grim, once we get there, is really a dance. Like, when he says a dance in the vanilla game, like, he's not kidding. This boss really is a dance. It's just, his moves are very, very easily telegraphed, and you can just, and once you know his moveset, you eventually develop a timing that works really, really well. Like, for these, like, it's almost muscle memory as to how much I need to press the jump button in order to get over those things. And this attack, just Shade Cloak through him. That attack, jump up and down slash. Jump over the rabbits, or whatever those things are, ghosts, I don't know. That actually doesn't damage him. I thought it did for a while until I realized, oh, it actually doesn't. And then if you have enough health and enough soul, you can actually spam Abyss Shriek so much that he actually, after the first stun, you can, I think it takes like 4 Abyss Shrieks and he just dies. Which is nice, because, you know, spell damage does wonders on Grim. Especially since he doesn't have enough health, because it really is a patience game, like he disappears for a long period of time. But then you get the health pool here, which is nice, and then, you know, you go on to fight the rest of Pantheon 5. So the next boss is Watcher Knights, and Shade Cloak, Quick Slash, and Unbreakable Strength absolutely destroy Watcher Knights. It's not even funny. It takes 11 hits with Unbreakable Strength to defeat Watcher Knights, and if you get incredibly good RNG like I did, like, you can easily outdamage them. This you just go under them when he does it, and yeah, that's one Watcher Knight done. 11 hits. I got so lucky because all of them spam this attack. When he gives you that attack, then you can easily Shade Cloak through it. And then I was able to outdamage him. Yeah, when you go over there, just wait for him to jump over. And then when they do this spam roll, jump over that. If you can use Shade Cloak, use Shade, or if you can use Shade Soul, use Shade Soul, because that'll give you an extra damage boost. But really, it's just you're looking for that attack, the sword attack, because you can Shade Cloak through that and then get 5 hits, which is basically half his health pool, or half their health pool, I guess. And then once it's down to this, you're just dodging them. But you can outdamage them before the second one even gets in, which is really useful, because you really want a lot of soul for the next fight, which is one of my least favorite fights, just because it's an RNG crapshoot. Umu, the floating or flying jellyfish. You can dream nail him a maximum of 3 times at the very beginning if you time it right, and that'll give you, like, that'll upgrade your soul to full if you haven't had full soul already. This is really bad. Usually he doesn't give you 2 attacks immediately. Usually he'll do that, which summons the big jellyfish that you need to explode. They don't give you Coral here, unfortunately, but you'll see me try to dodge these things. You want to keep moving when he does that attack, and then once you see me try to maneuver around here, I'm trying to get to the point to where I can knock the jellyfish into him, except you see me do it really poorly there. What you optimally want to do, and what I do here, is Shade Soul the jellyfish into him, and usually it'll take a decent amount. I actually got extremely lucky and knocked a jellyfish into him immediately afterwards, but I still didn't damage him enough, which was kind of unfortunate. But yeah, and then here I screw up and I dream nailed too early, but then you see me make an absolute legend move here and just kind of knock that guy in, and that's game over. And then you dream nail a couple of these guys, and then you can heal up if you need it. But it's a crapshoot. You just have to avoid his attacks, be patient, and if you see an opportunity, take it, and then just damage him as much as possible until you get it. This is Flying Nosk, and Flying Nosk terrified me the first couple times I played through him, but then I realized he's basically a glorified Benchfly King, which makes him really easy. You jump up and do the same thing as you did with Benchfly Kings, and the added bonus is, yeah, he has a larger health pool, but at the same time, if you time your Shade Soul right, you can get 2 hits off of him, which is pretty nice. When he does that attack, just kind of stand in ballpark where the blobs are going to land, and the best way to do that is to stay in the middle of the arena, because that'll really give you a ballpark. Sometimes he'll do it off screen, and that you just have to gamble, but you have so much health anyway that it really doesn't matter. When he does that, it's perfect time to get soul, because you know the ghosts give you soul. When he does that attack, it's the same thing with the other one. Just kind of gauge and make micro movements in order to avoid it. But yeah, it's a pretty quick fight if you time everything and just get the jump. And now we're on to the boss that's actually a tale of two playthroughs, as I like to call it, and it's Nail Sage Sly, which on the first attempt at Sly, I thought this was one of the hardest bosses that I had fought, but really it's legitimately a tale of two playthroughs. Like, you basically just have to gauge exactly what he's doing. I didn't realize how much lag there was going to be on this thing, so I apologize. But basically, he has one of two attacks. He'll either usually do the jump and spin attack, which means that you're going to get as far away from him as possible, but then move in close so that you can basically get 2 hits in. It's 2 hits and run. So get 2 hits when he does his attacks, and then run away. So you'll see me get 2 hits there, and then run. So basically keep your distance, and when he's finished attacking, go in for 2 hits and then run away. You can get an Abyss Shriek off that first part, and here is just waiting for him to come to you. He'll pause for a bit and then shade dash the other way and then come in as soon as he finishes, and that's when you can get hits off. Either that or shade cloak it. But it takes a lot of practice, but once you get him, it's pretty easy. Hornet, if you have enough health, just tank the damage, because there's a hot spring coming after this, and honestly, it's a lot easier to just, like, she does not have that much health, so it's a lot easier to just spam attacks and just stay in her face. And just, if you get damage, you have iframes, so just use them and basically hit the crap out of her. Use Shade Cloak if you can, because normally it'll give her 2 hits, but yeah, like, I was being the most least careful person in the world, and I only took 2 massive damage. That's how little health she has when you have Unbreakable Strength and Shaman Stone. So just make sure to stay in her face and spam the crap out of things. So yeah. And now we're on to Pantheon 4. This is literally just Crystal Guardian. Just if you don't time your dashes right, you'll take double masks, and that's not fun. When those come down, just kind of gauge where you are at. I was being stupid, and I wasn't paying attention. I just kind of wanted the fight to be over, so I accidentally got hit like a goof. But yeah, it's just the same thing as in Rage Guardian. Lost Kin used to be difficult until I found out that Descending Dark destroys this guy, like to the point where it makes the fight almost a joke. Like, just stand in his face, damage him as much as possible, and then once that happens, Descending Dark, and it'll deal so much damage to him, because he'll stun. If you get the full Descending Dark and then 4 hits, that's enough to stun, and if you can just keep cycling that, then it's literally game over. You see me have a perfect one here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and he stuns. So just basically do that for the long period of time, and yeah, it's basically it. You'll take damage, but honestly, you can heal it all back up, and the next boss is No Eyes, which is semi-easy. So it's not that bad. So you'll see me heal up to full here. If you can use Shade Soul, use it, because it'll hit her twice, and she doesn't have that big of a health pool because she likes to teleport. But what I really want to do is try to get the down slashes, because I found out the spots in which you can down slash actually protect you a lot more, because the ghosts don't come there that often. So you can do that a bunch. They basically damage her, get to places where you can heal, because you're gonna want to heal, because the ability to get double hit, like hit and then hit into the spikes, happens more often than you'd think. So make sure to do that. Trader Lord, just stand in his face and abuse Shade Cloak, because every single attack, if you Shady Cloak through it, you'll be able to replenish your Shade Cloak by the time he starts up another attack. So just stay in his face and basically spam attacks. I got hit there because, of course, I did. I usually get hit in this fight, but it's fine. You'll only if you time everything right, you should only get hit once, and that's only 2 massive damage, and you'll have plenty of soul by the time you finish nailing him. White Defender is basically a glorified Dung Defender, but the strategy is the same. Just kind of stay in his face and just spam your nail. When that comes up, try to get to as close to him as possible. He always, when he does the diving in, when he does that attack, it only does it once, so you can kind of gauge when he's gonna come in. And this attack is a perfect place to heal, except sometimes that'll happen. But if you stand right next to him, you'll be able to heal after that attack without any problem. And then he'll do this, and this is a perfect place to just, you know, just pay attention to where he's gonna be. I was dumb and tried to heal there. Don't do that. That's just silly. I'm just trying to be greedy. But really, what you want to do is when he comes out, hit immediately, try to time it right, and then you'll be able to get a bunch of nail damage. And he has a little bit more health, or no, he has maybe double the health of Dung Defender, but even then it's not that much, so you'll be fine. And then it's the next health pool, which is nice. It's very helpful. And then we go out and fight Pantheon 4, which is the hardest section. So this section right here is what I've dubbed the RNG section, and it really just depends on how lucky you get. Soul Tyrant's pretty easy, which is coming up now, and this boss is just a faster version of Soul Master, so just try to get as many hits in as you possibly can. Stay close to him. Well, stay close to him as much as possible. Basically, just try to dash toward him. If he teleports, just reverse direction as fast as possible and try to get to him again. Again, this attack is a perfect spot to heal. You see me get hit like an idiot. If you time your jump correctly, you'll land in the gap. Just make sure not to move in either direction. That jump and do a side slash, it'll give you 2 hits. I do it poorly there, but it's fine. Just make sure to, you know, keep on pace, jump over those. Yeah, that's exactly what you want there. You just want like a little mini hop and you'll land in the gap. When he does the fake out, if you jump, you'll have plenty of time to dash and then jump again before he does the second dash. So yeah, it's basically a faster version of Soul Master. If you can beat Soul Master consistently, you can beat this one consistently. It's just a very slow fight because he teleports so often. So yeah, it's basically just continue doing that phase. And eventually he'll die. This is a perfect opportunity for me to chill and stop talking because I've been talking for a solid half hour now. Yeah, there is a strat to double jump and damage him, but I find it way too difficult and I get hit way too many times. And you really want all your health and as much soul as possible for the next couple fights. So just kind of jump and dash out of the way until he does this. And then it's 11 hits to hit him. And if you can avoid those as much as possible, do. If you have to tank a hit, fine, tank a hit, because it's easier to, you know, damage him in one cycle than risk any hit in another cycle. So just kind of stand where he is and just damage the crap out of him until he's gone. It's 11 hits. Alright, Markoth, RNG, completely. So in the beginning, you want to jump over to where he spawns, because he spawns in the same place every time, and just do this. Like, do this as much as possible up until you get too much damage. Up until you take too much damage, and then heal. Because when he has the one shield, it's a lot easier to damage him, and so you want to damage him as much as possible in the first phase while retaining a decent amount of soul. So keep him in first phase as long as possible. If he starts coming over to you, just make sure to avoid him. But when he gets to 2 shields, like right there, everything becomes a little bit more hectic. So just try to keep him in first phase as much as possible. You'll get a feel for how that works. Just practice him. But yeah, what you see me doing is just kind of standing on that one platform and, you know, avoiding those things. And then once he does that with the 2 shields, I think that took 4 Shade Souls to kill him. So if you have enough soul, you can entirely avoid the second phase without any problems. Because if he's in the middle, the Shade Soul will double hit. Alright, Zote. Most annoying boss, and you can skip him, but for people who didn't realize that and really don't want to go through another playthrough, this is for you. Basically just stand in this face and spam nail as much as possible. When he does that attack, just wait for him to come in, dash out of the way, and go for him. But really what you're doing is, even if you take damage, all you need to do is just stand in his face and spam attacks. Just get as close to him as possible and just go to town. And then once you do stun him, he stuns twice, get as many heals in as you can. You can guaranteed get 2 heals in, maybe 3. depending on what attack he does. This attack, just go up and nail pogo him, and then Descending Dark. That'll deal a bunch of damage. But yeah, just jump over those. You can actually ignore the Zotlings for the most part. They really won't bother you. If you try focusing on them for too long, they'll actually become a problem. So don't try to focus on them. Just keep focusing on the big guy, and they really won't bother you that much. You'll get hit once or twice, but it's better than, you know, focusing on them and then having Big Zot hit you multiple times and then you prolong the fight. Failed Champion is, again, it's a glorified version of Fallen Knight, or Failed Knight? Whatever the other knight is. It takes 12 hits to stun him, and still 2 hits to the face. So just kind of out-damage him as much as you can, and then go away. Try to dodge those, and then once he's done with that, he hits the ground 8 times. Just go away. Just come right back in and punish him. It takes 12 hits, which is a lot less than you think it is. But then, like, once you beat him, you can literally cycle through him endlessly and just dream nailing him. Because I can get, how many dream nails do I get in here? That's 2, 3, 4, 5 after he dies, which is like, I can heal and get as much soul as possible. And really, next up is Nightmare King Grim. And you don't really need soul because you're not going to be using it, but you do want health. So this is where, like, you know, if you don't have that much soul, it doesn't matter, but you really want health. I've never seen him not open that with that attack, so just shade dash through that. There's a nice gap in which you can avoid those flying ghosts, so just get in that gap and then dash and you'll avoid all of them. This one you can technically nail pogo him on the head, but I find it way too risky because I always get hit, so I just don't do it. This one, just run to the right, or to the left, depending on where he is, and you'll avoid those pretty easily. But yeah, just dodge the gap. Nightmare King Grim has just become kind of like a rhythm game for me. I know a lot of people struggle with him, but if you can, like, you know, practice him, there's really like it's a dance. It really is. It's just a dance. And so if you just pay attention to what his moveset is, it really is helpful. Those spikes that come up out of the ground, those have such a tiny hitbox that you can be pretty dang close to them, and they'll always spawn in a place where, you know, you'll be able to avoid it. Just make sure that, you know, you don't panic when those come up, because that's what will get you killed. It's the micro movement. Like, you'll see me, like, go the wrong way that time, but I was in a perfect place right there. During that fire pillar thing, you can throw a Shade Soul at the end of it if you're out of range with your nail. It's useful that way. And here you can Shade Soul after the last one, because the last one will always be a double. So, but yeah, it's really just finding the rhythm and taking a bunch of practice. Because once you practice Nightmare King Grim enough, and you start treating it as more of a dance, more than a reactionary type fight, it becomes a heck of a lot easier. And you'll see, like, every time he stuns, you can get 3 heals in without any problem, and it's gotten easier with time, is what I'll say. And also, it depends on your playstyle. Like, I'm playing with a more aggressive playstyle, but, like, Nightmare King Grim forces me to play a little bit more defensive. But even then, there's ways to find hits here and there. And then this fight is just, you know, you get used to it. Somehow I double Shade Souled him. I've never had that happen. And I was kind of like, wow, okay, that's weird. But don't count on that. Yeah, see, like, the hitbox for that is so small that you really you can sort of be on top of it and it still won't hit you. And then I came pretty close to dying here. It just kind of was, like, off the edge, but somehow managed to stay on, which worked. Like, I'm not complaining. And now we get to the 2 hardest bosses in Pantheon of Hallownest, and really it's these 2 bosses that make this thing so stinking difficult. And number 1 is Pure Vessel. Pure Vessel is really fast and really speedy, but if you have full soul along with full health, so that helps out a lot. But really, Pure Vessel is the opposite of Nightmare King Grim. It's a reactionary fight, and you just gotta be able to tell what are his tells and just react accordingly. When he does that, just kind of shade dash away and then react to where the spikes are gonna be. Those spikes you shade dash through, and these I mean, he telegraphs them pretty nicely, so it's kind of nice. When he does the absolute worst attack he has, and the attack that I hate the most, is his triple spike. When he does the dash, just jump over it. It's pretty easy to jump over. But that triple spike is his worst attack, because sometimes he'll do it double but not give you enough time. When he does that attack, spam Shade Soul as much as possible. It'll be one of the few times where you'll be actually able to get spells in. The parry, just Shade Dash through it. I know, easier said than done, for sure, but it's really a reactionary fight. That one, just double jump and then Descending Dark, and usually it'll hit him. I had a really good Pure Vessel fight this run, so you see me just reacting to a bunch of these. I don't know why I Shade Souled that. It was a really bad move on my part. You can technically jump over that attack, but I find it really difficult, so just Shade Dash through it, you should be fine. Again, it's a fight where you really just have to be reactionary to a bunch of things. So yeah. And then the worst boss, and by definition the hardest boss, since she's also the worst boss, is Absolute Radiance. Now you see me exit out here to the menu because I literally was like, my heart was going at 50 miles an hour and I was trying hard not to lose it because I'm like, I've gotten to this boss so many times, I really don't want to die again, because Absolute Radiance is literally a 50-50 crapshoot. You could get the best RNG in the world or you could get the worst RNG in the world, and honestly this fight right here is some of it is literally dream RNG. Like, I kid you not. Like, the amount of RNG I got in this fight alone is the luckiest stuff ever. Because Absolute Radiance, she deals you double damage and is very aggressive with a lot of attacks. So this is the one fight where if you're playing aggressive, you are playing it wrong. The other ones you can get away with it, but this is a fight where you have to be defensive, otherwise you're not going to come out on top. You really aren't. Like, that's the thing. Like, this one has to be on top of it. Otherwise, you're just... If you play aggressive, you will lose. You will lose. And it took me a long time to realize that, and this is one of the reasons why I don't like this boss, is because I can't be aggressive. I have to be defensive, and it goes against every instinct I have. Because I want to outdamage her. I do. But I can't, because it's frustrating. And... like, she will damage you, and she will damage you very, very quickly. But yeah, here we go. So at the beginning, you can jump and get about 6 nail hits in. So jump and double hit. Those just kind of don't go for her. Just dodge them. And the spaces in between look deceptively small, but they really are just high enough for you to dodge it. Those, Shade Dash through them. That's the only way you can do it. Those things, just stay in the gaps and try to damage her as much as possible. But yeah, for these things, just stay in the gaps, don't try to damage her. These you can Shade Dash through, but jumping will save you because they'll track you. And if you jump, they'll track you over to where you are. Those just kind of stay in the ballpark and avoid them as much as possible. But like, you can see me damage her a decent amount when that attack comes out. That one, just try to dash as much as possible. When the nails come out, don't try to hit Absolute Radiance at all. Just kind of deal with it. But yeah, what you really want to do during this phase, because the room is cut in half, you want to use Abyss Shriek as much as possible, because you really don't want to stay on this phase for too long, because she will damage you based on how much stuff she throws at you. But yeah, you can see me jumping over these things. Just trying to stay over to the half of the room and just aim for the gaps. The larger gaps, the better. Yeah. And now this phase, you'll have nothing but these. So just kind of try to stay in the gaps and just jump up and damage her, because she'll always stay in the middle. And if you can get into the gaps, you can damage her enough. This is a perfect opportunity to heal if you have enough soul. And then we get to this phase. Now this phase, she'll teleport to every platform, but I got ridiculously good RNG and she gave me right here. So right there, just stand there and spam up. Just spam up as many times as you possibly can. And I got incredibly lucky because she gave me 2 of those attacks, which are perfect because they're easy to dodge. And then we go into the staircase of absolute ridiculousness, because that thing tracks really well. So you really just have to be reactionary and just say, oh, okay, it's going there, I have to avoid it. But the other difficult part is there's staircases, and I panic so easily in this. But basically watch for where the light is going to be and either Shade Dash through or use Monarch Wings. And then this fight, those fireballs come in deceptively slow, but if you jump on her head and nail pogo, they'll get lost out of screen, because if they go off screen, then they won't do it. But I'm panicking right now. Like, I'm literally, like, losing my mind. I'm panicking, and I'm like, and then here is when I was like, no, I can calm down. You know, just use Monarch Wing's Shade Cloak over, and the fight is finally done. And I was ecstatic when this happened. Like, I was so stoked. It was unreal. And I was like, finally. Because this took me so stinking long. But now, it's done. And I was excited. I was so excited. Like, this challenge was incredibly difficult. And there, you get to see the amazing achievement as the credits roll. Now, honestly, this really is such a difficult challenge, and the only way you can get to Absolute Radiance is if you go through Pantheon 5 and actually get to Absolute Radiance. That's the only way it unlocks at God Home. So it really is going to take a lot of practice and a lot of work, but it's doable. Like, I mean, it took me a while, but eventually I was able to do it, and I cannot say that I'm the best Hollow Knight player ever. But if you just go at it and put in the effort, you will do it. Like, you will. You absolutely will. And so the thing that made this like extremely difficult was two things. One is Pure Vessel and Radiance together. Even though after Pure Vessel it'll give you all your health back, like those two are really difficult fights. And so if you're not on top of your A game, if you're playing poorly on one of them, you'll automatically have to go into the other fight super stressed, because it's the end of the Pantheon 5 and you'll panic too much and eventually it'll take a toll on you. So keeping calm is key here. What you also want to do is just make sure that you know how much soul you need for each boss, how much stuff you need, and basically pay attention to what you're doing, because if you're not, then everything will you'll start panicking, you'll lose control, and that'll give you unnecessary hits, and you really don't want that, obviously. But know that even if you tank, there are opportunities to heal. I mean, obviously with Absolute Radiance and Pure Vessel and maybe a couple other bosses like Oblobbles, like you won't have that much time, but there are a bunch in which honestly you'll be able to heal off any damage that you give as long as you stay aggressive and out damage. Zote is a good example of this, where you can just get in his face and spam your nail to the absolute max, and then once he stuns, you'll be able to get all that health back just by healing, because you've been dealing so much damage at him. So just remember to stay aggressive, but learn, and this is the other important thing, learn the micro adjustments, because that will turn your game from panic mode to, okay, I got this, all I need to do is just move a little bit over and I can keep attacking. So really it's a mental game more than anything else. You just need to keep your mind on top of it. But at the end, you achieve the feat, and that really is it. So yeah. And to Ballcap Gamer and Wade Watts, you'd better do this. I gave you a guide. So you guys had better get on top of it. Anyway, that's it for today. Take care, everyone. Thanks for watching all the Hollow Knight episodes, and I'll see you all down the road.